Okay, and that will reach down and actually hit the thing down there, and you can go that way and that way, you know, all the way back and forth. So there's that. Now I have, let's move this so I have room. So here's what I have to do, and you have to do it somewhat quick. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark each of my areas that I need to get. I need to go in that hole. I need to go in this hole. I need to go in this hole. This hole. This hole to get underneath this guy. And this center hole to get both sides of that. Okay, so now that I have marked where I need to get, give myself some more room. And again, it's all about that 30 minutes, because once that stuff sets, you are screwed. It will not move. So here's what I have to do. In 30 minutes, I will set my timer so you can see, and hopefully I will do better than my 22 minutes. I need to mix the mix. That'll take about 2 minutes. It's pretty quick. I need to put it in here. But one thing I learned the last time is I need to hold that thing down when I put it in there. So I put it in, and then strap it down so it holds it steady. Otherwise, the little plug that's inside here gets all scatterlywampus and goes crazy. We don't want that. So, are we ready? I'm gonna get some gloves on. And this is one of those $3 things from Harbor Freight. So when I'm done with it this time, I'm throwing the whole kit and caboodle away. Not even gonna worry about cleaning it up. It's just gonna get done. So here we go. I'm mixing up that stuff. It doesn't really take that long. You just keep turning right and pushing it in and out, turn it right, push it in and out. And you can see my little piece that I made there, and it worked great until the tape failed and it came apart. So if you do that, it does work really well how I had it set up. But make sure you use enough tape and that it's tight enough so that it doesn't come apart. And then you see me kind of messing with the end there. The size of the push rod in the gun is just off enough that sometimes that the cork that's kind of in the back part of that pushes the sealant out, it gets kind of at a bad angle, and then it starts pushing at an angle and it gets all messed up. So you have to make sure it gets in there lined up right. So that's what I was doing, was just making sure it was in there lined up right. And then it's working perfectly fine here, works really good. And then you'll see me right about here go, hey, wait, what's going on? Why is it not coming out anymore? Oh, look, there's a problem. Yeah, the tape came off, and then I tried to get the tape back on, and that didn't work. And it was a mess at that point because that tank sealant gets everywhere. And I was trying to tape it back up, tried it again, and still, there was so much tank sealant that I couldn't get it back to the way it was. And so I switched gears, and I switched to, okay, I have my spreader. I can get tank sealant down there with the spreader, and I probably control it pretty well. And it did work pretty well, actually. And you'll see pictures here coming up in a little bit. I was able to put some on the end of that spreader, kind of spread it, just like spreading butter on a toast is basically what I did. And you kind of spread it in that crevice down there on both sides. And I did have a lot more control doing it that way. So it went okay. It wasn't the prettiest thing ever, but it worked, and I think it's perfectly fine. And as you can see, there is tank sealant all over the gun, all over the top of the canister. There's tank sealant on my can of acetone. I eventually cleaned that off. There's tank sealant on my flashlight. There's tank sealant everywhere. So be prepared to have tank sealant in places that you don't really want tank sealant. And then I basically go through and clean up the parts where tank sealant kind of got on places where it wasn't supposed to be.
That's pretty ugly. I'll show you guys. So it's not beautiful, but it's in there. It's got a nice little fillet along the edge. So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna call it good and button these guys back up. Well, I'm gonna put the weights on and finish the rest of the service bulletin, but that's where we're at. See ya.
So here is me fitting the extra weights that they have you put on for the service bulletin. They're basically just pieces of aluminum that give it a little bit of extra weight, basically to take up the weight that you added in tank sealant to that rear spar. So it's two little pieces. You drill them on, you center them, and then drill them on there, and then, you know, finish the holes basically. And then here I am, I'm just painting them, well, not painting them, priming them right now. Just so they match the rest of the thing, the rest of the elevator thing there where the weights are. Because they're aluminum, they're not lead, and so that's why they got primed. And then this is finishing up. It's I'm buttoning the elevators back up using the pop rivets that they send you in the kit. And I did work a little bit on getting those rounded out so they attach really easily. So you can see I just kind of put them in the holes lined up, and, you know, clecoed them, and then it was done. It was pretty easy. And then I do basically fill in wherever there needs to be a pop rivet. And then I do the same exact thing to the other side. And you'll see that kind of up close. And watch how easy, if you take your time and you bend the metal the way it's supposed to be bent, it looks really good for one. So I don't know if you can see, but that looks really good to me. And then the pop rivets just kind of slide in. It's like, okay, boom, you slide them in the holes, because the holes are already lined up because the metal is bent the way it's supposed to be. And then you'll see me put these last ones in, and it's like, oh, you just put them in the holes. There they are. And then pop rid of them, and you are done. So that is all she wrote.
Okay, so SB, what is this thing? SB Service Bulletin SB 00043. Done. Cool. And now I can put it back up in my storage and call it a day. See ya.